The New York Knicks take game 3 in Indiana. Listen, a lot of chatter. A lot of chatter. The New York Knicks are not a better basketball team when Jalen Brunson's on the bench. That is ludicrous, and he would not have won Clutch Player of the Year if that was the truth. So let's stop that here. This series, this deep into the playoffs, is a different story. Let's talk about that. Last night was a perfect example of something that Jeff Teague talked about his podcast, right? The 520 podcast, and brought up a great point. Jalen Brunson dominates the ball too much for too long. Now, he's your best offensive player. Of course you want, and you're a clutch player. Of course you want the ball in his hands. But here's the issue. When you have 24 seconds to try to score the basket, right, and you eat up 18 seconds of that shot clock, and then you're left with a couple of seconds to try to hurry up and get whoever makes a shot, someone try to make a basket, it leads to a very low shot clock. It leads to bad shots. It leads to people panicking. It leads to very bad momentum, to no momentum at all. It also leads to less confidence because guys are just bricking shots. Guys are doing crazy acrobatic shots that don't make any sense and just turn the ball over. And in their head, like, I need to make that shot. I need to do, you know what I'm saying? It leads to really bad cohesion, right? I think we all agree. We're all seeing that. Game 2 especially was that. But here's the thing, though. In the first series, you're not getting to the second round if Jalen Brunson doesn't go off. In the second round, you're not making it to the third round if Jalen Brunson doesn't go off, right? Right now, what we're seeing is fatigue that hit Jalen Brunson last night. He went through a Thompson twin. He went through Drew Holiday, and now he's going through Naismith and every single person on that bench that's a guard that can guard him, right? Because here's the reality that game 1, I know game 2 was a little end, but game 1, 2, and not 3 because Jalen Brunson is tired by this point, but game 1 and 2 especially told me no one on that basketball team on the Pacers can guard Jalen Brunson one-on-one. In fact, and to Jalen Brunson to the detriment of things, right? Even they throw 2 bodies at him, he's still confident and skilled enough to fight off a double team and score a bucket. He is that good, right? But at the same time, when you do that, the shot clock, you're eating up so much time, and guys are just standing there. Guys are going possessions at a time without the basketball in their hands, without trying to dribble it, without trying to like get a feel for their shot, try and get into the game, right? So that is bad of a point guard to do, if we're being honest. Jalen Brunson, sometimes he plays more as a 2 guard because of how he just goes about the game. And don't get me wrong, he can still pass the ball. He can still do everything a traditional point guard can do. I'm not trying to say anything else of him in that regard. But in this series, it is demanding something different of Jalen Brunson. And that is, hey, distribute the ball more. You can't eat up this much. When we get down the stretch, you know, when you've got your legs underneath you and the defense of the Pacers is leaning and they're on the ropes. Okay, cool. Go into Clutch Player of the Year mode. Start making your shots. Start getting, stuff like that. But earlier on, you've got to get your guys more involved. You've got to get guys more involved. You got to get Karl-Anthony Towns going. And I don't care what anyone says. Yes, defensively, those two, worst combo I've ever seen defensively. The both of them on the court at the same time, that is. But offensively, they are very great, and they can still play each other's game while they're both on the court at the same time. The issue with last night, what was interesting, is that Jalen Brunson does this thing, just like Karl-Anthony Towns. They are so similar in this regard. They get frustrated. And when they both get frustrated, things happen. Negative plays happen when they both get frustrated. Like Karl-Anthony Towns starts fouling, right? Jalen Brunson starts getting hard-headed, and he starts turning the ball over way too much, and it leads into fatigue. It leads into too many negative plays, and that's what leads into this conversation of like, oh, his team looks more fluid with him on the bench. It has to, because he generates so much of their offense. It has to come from somewhere else. And I'm not going to lie, I'm sorry to say it, but Cameron Payne should never touch the basketball court again for the rest of this series. Every time he gets on the court, he plays horrendous minutes. Right? I think Deuce McBride, who struggled a little bit in the foul trouble last night, started getting his legs underneath him, started making some really positive play. Yesterday was a team effort, and sometimes, especially this way in the playoffs, it takes that. Sometimes it takes team efforts, and you really, really need that. And I think that Karl Anthony Towns obviously saved them, but it came from players getting involved late into the first half, early into the second half. We have Mikal Bridges, who had hit a big three to get us into halftime down 13 instead of 20. We really should have been down going to halftime probably like 20, 25 points. But again, Mikal Bridges and them boys like guys into it. And then second half, our defensive intensity raised up because Jalen Brunson wasn't in the game as much, which he is a defensive liability. I mean, the dude's barely 6'2", so yes, he's going to have matchup problems. And he's just traditionally not the best defender. So he is going to be a very defensive liability, especially someone with at the time, maybe I think 4 fouls. 4 fouls at the time. His bad defense is even worse because he cannot afford to get fouled out. So, and they're going to hunt. Any good coach, any good player with any basketball IQ would be like their best player has 4 fouls for the remaining of the game and it's only the third quarter. We're going at him every time we can to try to get him into 5 and not see him until the fourth quarter. So, and then their bench stepped up. The Knicks bench stepped up. Thibodeau actually trusted other players I don't think I've ever seen this whole season to play in the Eastern Conference Finals. And they just generated points. The defensive intensity, again, raised through the roof. And Jalen Brunson got not only an extended rest, but he was able to play the rest of the game, would turn out to be 5 fouls eventually, like with 5 fouls. And that's important, right? And I think to Karl Anthony Towns' credit, that's who we want to see. That's what we paid money to go see. And I do think it is a bullshit excuse to use, he can only play that way if Jalen Brunson isn't on the court. Because this whole season has not dictated that. And also, if that was the case, they would not have got Karl Anthony Towns. And they didn't think these two could play together. They would not have done that. And I do think that Karl Anthony Towns, again, I think I said earlier, he has these moments, just like Jalen Brunson do. They're very similar players, where they both get extremely frustrated by how the refs are reffing, by how they're getting defended sometimes, the shots they're missing, the turnovers they create, different things like that. And they let their passion and emotion get to them sometimes. As stoic as Jalen Brunson likes to pretend he is, he gets frustrated just like anybody else. He's a competitor. But that does lead to really horrendous turnovers. It does lead to really bad air balls. You can tell he's so tired. And then when I attack him on the other side, then he gets a silly foul. Karl Anthony Towns cannot help himself but foul every other couple of minutes. So he has to get off the bench. And both of them sometimes are such bad defensive liabilities. It doesn't matter how much times you're splashing if you allow like a 6-point, 8-point swing the other way. Because of how bad you are defensively. So, I said all that to say this. Knicks came back and played alive. They came back and played a whole team basketball. I think they played how they played game 1 up until the 2-minute, 50-second mark in game 1 in the fourth. I think they found a way to play better team cohesive basketball because at the end of the day, I don't care what anyone says, the Knicks have a better team than the Pacers. They just do. The issue is, and no pun intended, the heart of the Knicks was wavering a little bit. And the Pacers failed to do it. Because this could have been a sweep. Because I don't believe the Knicks have, and I hate to say this, I'm not even trying to be disrespectful when I say this, I don't think the Knicks would have had the heart to go to game 4, elimination game, and play any different. If they would have lost last night, I think it would have been done. Or if worst case scenario, it would have been a really ugly loss in the Garden, game 5. This does not say the Knicks are going to come back and win the series, but I will say it does make the series alive because you make it 2-2 now, you get back your home court advantage, in which they really should be up 2-1. But the Knicks are really, they just, that game 1 really shocked them to the core. And from what Jalen Brunson said in the interview after game 3, I think PJ Tucker, some of those vets on the team, which is why vets are very important, kind of shook them and said, hey, especially vets with championship experience, hey, take a deep breath, get over yourself, go hoop. That's why the regular season is so important. We had all regular season to develop teamwork, to build this team, to practice in these situations what to do. We've played this team many times throughout the season. We have history with this team. We know what we need to do. We built this team to beat the Celtics. We did that. Despite how it happened, we did it. We are so close to playing the big game. Let's lock in, let's focus, and let's play the basketball that got us this seed, that got us this home court advantage in the Eastern Conference Final. Let's go do that. And they went and they did that game 1, and they did that game 3. So, I'm liking this. I like what the Knicks have produced. I hope they keep it going. Jalen Brunson just needs to play a better game. And again, I think this series is just dictating something different that he has in his bag and in his basketball IQ. It's just whether his ego and whether Tibbs enforces it is the real question. But I think, hey, get guys going way earlier. Stop with silly fouls. I don't want to see you get a single foul if you can help in the first quarter for Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. Because guess what? If you don't have foul trouble, I can play you way more into the third. I can play you way more earlier. I can play you earlier in the fourth. Because we get into foul trouble, I can't play you until deep into the fourth quarter. That's why when the Knicks have these double-digit leads and they evaporate is because, one, Jalen Brunson needs rest, but also, even if you need rest and I want to help you and I want you to get back faster, I can't because now you have two fouls. And for whatever reason, you can't help yourself. So I know you're going to pick up the third. And I cannot get you into the third, fourth quarter with you having 4 or 5 fouls. That's a recipe to lose a game. So, and more importantly, and I completely forgot to mention him, Josh freaking Hart finally showed up this series. When Josh Hart is playing Josh Hart basketball, it's really hard to beat the New York Knicks because it gives them an extra rebounder. Especially when Robinson can't be in the game for whatever the reason may be, you need a rebounder. And for whatever reason, OG can be real butterfingers with the basketball sometimes. And also, I don't know what it is, and I hate to put it on OG, because I really like OG. Sometimes I think he's afraid of the free throw line, and I don't know. I hate that because it leads to wishy-washy rebound attempts. And when it comes to rebounding, and I no pun intended again, you have to have a lot of heart to rebound because it can lead to injury, and it's scary to jump up with a force of grown men and try to get the ball and then know what to do with it afterwards. A lot of turnovers the Knicks have that leads into points is when they rebound and they fumbling the basketball or not knowing where to pass the ball, and then it gets a turnover under the hoop, right, and leads to immediate score or foul. So Josh Hart showed up. Josh Hart showed up with rebounds and effort and intensity. That slip and slide shit he was doing for 2 games straight, he cannot do that and expect to win. Because Josh Hart was a big reason why why they lost game 1 and then game 2. You need Josh Hart. He's in the starting rotation for a reason. He brings so much rebounding ability. He also brings he can bring a point. He can bring an occasional 3 here and there, timely threes. He can give you fast break points. The issue is what made him not so effective, and I feel like he kind of lost his identity in this series a little bit, is that the Knicks have been really bad at trying to push the ball and pace. Credit to the Pacers. The Pacers have done an amazing job on getting back in some of these transition baskets, and also have done something or suffocated the Knicks a little bit, where the Knicks are a little bit more passive or a little bit more hesitant to do these wild passes or trying to push the transition because of the amount of turnovers that have led to it. And the Knicks, especially when they're playing down, they have to climb up by 20. Every turnover, every mistake is glaring, and it leads to a lot of hesitancy. And that's not Josh Hart's game. Josh Hart, he does, and I don't mean this disrespect, he doesn't think, like, he's not someone who's like, hey, no, he's like, hey, instincts like, hey, I'm faster and I'm more physical than whoever's on the other end, because they have the back pedal. I can go straight. I can do a little euro. I can do this. I can just I can do an outlet pass. Like, there's so much he can do. He's a savant at that. That's what Josh Hart does, besides his rebounding, is really pushing the pace and pushing the tempo, and does an amazing job at that. But because, again, credit to the Pacers and how their defense has played and how they play on fast break points, it has made Josh Hart's game kind of irrelevant a little bit. And last night, what he did to make up for it finally, he's like, hey, if I can't play offensively how I want to play, I'm going to crash the boards. I'm going to get these rebounds. I'm going to out-rebound everybody. I'm going to out-hustle everybody. Every loose ball, I'm going to be around it. Every rebound, offensively or defensively, I'm going to be around it. I'm going to get us those extra chance points. Because what makes the New York Knicks so deadly on offense is that they can get multiple offensive rebound, and get multiple possessions out of one possession. And that can often lead to Jalen Brunson getting a shot up, OG getting a shot up, Mikal getting a shot up, different things like that. And I do think offensively to go away from Mikal Bridges a little bit too often, because Mikal Bridges keeps them in games and can help them extend leads. He's very good at his midi. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Again, really love Game 3. I think the Eastern Conference Final is way better than the Western Conference Final, which I never thought I would say. But these are two teams that are pretty familiar with each other, and they're playing great basketball. And the Pacers are really good. So, yeah. See you on the next one. Peace.